Hello and welcome. My name is Gingy. Today I want to show you multiple years worth of personal illustration work of my original character. I have been developing this character for over 15 years, I think at this point. It's probably longer. And I get many questions while streaming, like where does this character come from? Who is it based off? What's the backstory behind it? So I'm going to take you on a little journey down memory lane of some of the first pictures I created of them, what the original thoughts and processes were, how they came to be, and how they developed into how I use it today. So let's start at the very beginning. My character is called Solis. They are a little robot in a post-apocalyptic world, to put it very, very simply. The story of the origin of this character, like in the context of story, I haven't fully fleshed out yet, and this is something that is the next step in the journey I kind of want to take with this, because I want to make them a thing that's part of its own world with its own lore. I want multiple backstories. I want to integrate you guys into the storylines as well, and I want to make it a big thing that I can work on for the next few years as well. But let me take you back to the start of it all. This is one of my first sketchbooks from university, and this is the very first time that I ever drew Solis. And I think I already figured out what their name was going to be maybe just 10 years ago. I kept changing it. For years I just kept on calling them the awkward robot, and I first drew them back in a time where, embarrassingly, these were back in my emo scene days. If anybody remembers the cringe artwork that made our life at the time, it was just heavily inspired by that kind of thing. So this was the very first time that I ever drew them. This was meant to be a tattoo design for one of my friends at the time, and they wanted that creepy, cute, emo style aesthetic. In the end, he didn't go with it, but this was essentially their birth. And from there on, I would just keep drawing them again and again. Now, this is the part where I have to warn you, this is going to be cringe. This is going to be cringe. You need to remember, this was 18-year-old me, 19-year-old me, who didn't really understand their place properly in the world. You'll see the weird influences. So to an extent, as much as possible, I'm going to try and clip out little bits of embarrassing stuff where I can. So if you see me covering pages here and there, it's just too cringy that I need to hide this. But this was the kind of premise of Solis originally. I gave him stars for his eyes, because he was always trying to be looking forward and being hopeful. We had the classic emo thing of missing the heart. He was always broken half the time as well, so I usually drew him with his arms ripped off. These some more little sketches here and there. But yeah, this was definitely right before I quit university, so I'm gonna gauge by this little stick in here that, yeah, this is probably around 2011 if I had this. I kept on trying to draw him in little scenarios here and there. I wasn't taking it too seriously, and I was just sketching him with a pen pretty much all the time. These are a little reference to even though I left university, my partner was still at university, so this was my way of letting my feelings out and just wanting to spend time together. And with this sketch here, one of my friends was doing her thesis, so I was trying to do a little doodle of her, essentially how she was feeling at the time, trying to get everything done. This was a little cringy project I was trying to come up with, because one of the final projects at university I did was making zines, and which I really enjoyed. So I was trying to come up with ways to make my own zines. So as you can see, creative methods of how to get hugs. Can you tell I was really lonely back at university? And I can see I had my ever weird sense of humour. Nobody can resist a cat. Dress up like one and everyone would love you, unless you bring in dead creatures. I know that if some of my Twitch moderators are watching right now, you're just going to be face palming so hard, and you probably very much understand at the time what kind of TV shows I was watching, and I was heavily influenced by that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, I was cringe, I'm sorry. I really question this. I don't know what my mind was going through at the time, but you could see my love of cats very, very easily here. But what is this? What is this? Why was I a weird kid? The next page, which I'm not going to show because it is too cringe, I was trying to come up with a fun little comic idea, and it was going to be Solis, and they were going to help the seagulls like run a gang that were going to steal all the chips at the seaside. Like, I have multiple cute watercolor illustrations for this idea. This might be something I do in the future. It's very weird, but I'm not going to show you this. More weird sketches. More weird sketches. Okay, I'm going to hide some of the cringe here, but as you can see, this is some like the first ideas I had, which I completely forgot this was a thing. So I remember I leaned more heavily on Solis having like a really big scarf and a backpack, right? Which you'll see in later drawings. But first time I actually put a little wizard's hat on them. And we also have a fluffy companion. This is many years before I got Caesar, because for a long time I always thought I was going to have a fluffy cat and call it Cosmique. Here I was playing around some of the original ideas of what I wanted Solis to do, and I think this is where I wanted to make the push of having this robot in outdoor spaces, because that's exactly how I was feeling at that time. At this point in my life, Solis became a representation of how I felt amongst the world. Like, at this point I was going through a really bad time, and it was my first major time dealing with depression and trying to help sort it. So what I did in real life was I joined my partner's mountaineering club, even though I was not part of their university. Thankfully they took me in, and we went out to loads of amazing places, and they helped inspire the drawings from there on of what I wanted to do. So with that thought in mind, with me now heavily drawing him all the time, I was trying to do this practice of doing as many thumbnail pictures as I could. So I would just draw as many squares as possible in this sketchbook, and just trying to come up with interesting things to do. Like, for example, this thumbnail right here, this became one of my first proper pieces I ever did of Solis, which if I can still find it on my Instagram, I'll pop it up on the screen right now for you. And as you can see, lots of this became essentially very spooky Halloween themed. I heavily started leaning on it, occasionally still keeping the outdoor element here and there. It wasn't until later I started merging it a lot more. Down here we've got another one of the pictures that I did. I'm very sure this is the proper picture for this is one of the very first paintings I actually sold. And I think I remember who bought it as well, because I think they were one of my first sales. So yeah, these are really fun to look back on, and I think looking at these were ideas for the Inktober that I did, which I guess brings me on to this sketchbook. So I'd never taken part in an art challenge before, and I thought I'd give Inktober a go. Never did anything like it. I did have to cheat a little bit and try to get ahead with certain things, because it's really difficult to do that kind of project, let's be honest. But it was really good fun. I first did that art challenge back in 2017 or maybe 2018, I can't remember. But I will show you what I did for that. But not before I show you one of my first attempts at an oil painting. I didn't even realise I had this. This was hidden behind the massive sketchbook. But yeah, very, very old iteration of Solis here. But yes, the first attempt at Inktober, as we can see here. With this, what I'll do is I'll take you through the complete sketchbook. So we can first see that this is dated back in 2016. With a view of the Wrekin, which is the local hill by me. Then we've got all my first attempts here at using gouache paint, and we've got this little watercolor down here of Great Langdale, done in 2017. I think I was painting outside for this, hence why it got terribly wet and it didn't go very well. And then we've got Ramshaw Rocks. This was a climbing location that I did on scene while everybody was setting up their gear. And this is the first Inktober ever. So this is where I was properly developing Solis. I was having fun with ideas, and hopefully I've written down all the prompts, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, first up we have Merchant, and I can already tell compared to like how I do painting now, I did not approach this very well in the slightest. So what I did, I used a fine liner that I thought was waterproof, but sadly it did slightly activate with water. So I did everything in a mechanical pencil first, then the fine liner went over top, and if I remember rightly, I can even tell you which pens it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I used these ones, which were the Unipen Fine Line Water and Fade Proof Pigment Ink. And as I found with this, it did bleed ever so slightly. But I think that's because I was using it in watercolor paper and it was just like a lot going on, hence the activation. Then we got prompt number 2, The Beast. I was trying to keep the general style the same with all of these pictures. So these were done in Winsor & Newton professional watercolors, and all the white detailings were done in a gel pen. So day 3 we have the mage, and day 4 we have the mount. I think I based this specifically on, there was an undead horse you could have in Skyrim through one of the DLCs, so I think I was drawing them, because yeah, I think this like background landscape, I think this is Skyrim. Then we've got day 5 the mercenary, day 6 the alchemist, day 7 the oracle, day 8 the sacred place. I loved this idea. With this, I started drawing cairns more often in my pictures. I feel like this was royalty because I stopped writing the names of what was what. This one was elderly. Then we got runes. No idea what this was meant to be. With all of these, by the way, I wasn't using any references. I was just drawing them straight out to try and get them done as quick as possible. I feel like this is like the escape or something like that. And I think this is meant to be the huntsman. No idea what this was meant to be. This was a Zelda reference from Breath of the Wild. Again, I have long forgotten what the references for these were. They're still cute. See, I take this as a sign as well. Me doing this in 2017 and I now have a British short hair. I knew it was meant to be. Here we're playing with more summer colours. I love the idea of this one. This was really fun. And never ask me to draw a dragon. I am terrible with dragons. Sometimes like it's okay if I can do a scary dragon, but me trying to do cute things doesn't really work. I think I tried to base this idea off Smaug. This was a cute little one. I think this one was meant to be Heist, and I think I based this one off The Emperor's New Groove. Ah, yes. Cusco's poison, I can see right here. Not poison. Poison might be poison. This one was another Zelda idea, because if you remember in Breath of the Wild, the shooting stars that fall down, you can go and collect them. And we've got another Zelda reference here, because of course we have a little Korra, and we got a Charizard. This idea I really love. Every now and then I come back to this picture and I would love to do like a series of them, like top-down views of Solis flying through the air. What I quite enjoy with like things like this especially is when Solis is drawn like this, you cannot tell that there are robots, so it actually appeals to a lot more people in that respect then. And there we have the last of the drawings. I think I definitely used a reference for this. I would not be able to figure out bone structure at all. We got more plain airs of climbing outdoors, trying to paint rocks, and this is playing around with textures and ideas and different ways to kind of paint and draw Solis, because I rarely ever drew him like as a singular image like this. I usually paint him into a full-on landscape, but I think I was heavily inspired by some of the things I was seeing on social media at the time, and as you can see, having a go of like different methods. We're going to ignore this first attempt at gouache. This was horrid. This is when I didn't really know what I was doing with medium, but you can see the progress difference as we go later on. This was watercolor. This was nice and easy and fun. And then if we see the difference of like something like this to this, like the difference in the shadows, so much better. Like this, I really like this. This, not so much. This I love. But the difference between these two is this one, I started using a sepia fine liner, and from that point on, I was using it in everything. Here we have some more gouache experimentation. Not loving what I did here, but it was practice. I felt like I was going too heavy on the gel pen with this one on the right. And this was the start of a whole new series of Solis pictures where I was starting to understand like my style a lot better. So for the most part with these next few pictures, I was not using solely watercolor paper. Occasionally I was using gouache paint, but I'll tell you where it comes up here and there. So the general premise for a lot of these was I would use a dip pen with ink for certain bits here and there, and then I'd use that sepia toned fine liner because paint covers it quite well. Also, many of these references that I was using, these were my own references from the Lake District for the most part. I think I can pretty much remember where most of these bits were. Like for example, this is going up the initial bit of the Langdale Pikes. So when you're at the bottom car park, the National Trust car park, you go past the pub and start walking up the route. This is part of the initial bit of the route, and this is looking over the other side. And this is the tarn at the top. This is going past the tarn. I must have got like all the photo references like pretty much in one day for some of these. For the Langdale Pikes in the background here with some fields. Again, Langdale Pikes with the stone wall, but I added this little bit here. I should really do more like these. I love these. These are just cute and simple. These are really, really good to practice doing. I'm not sure what the reference for this one was. I have a feeling this is one of Sam's references, or this could be going towards Scarfell Pike. I think this is why I've cleared it from my memory. This one here, this is heavily using gouache as well, because I needed something a bit more opaque to start punching through. The general composition is taken from photographs. I've taken the lakes again, but I've added some buildings here and there on top. Then we've got a little cave, which I can't remember which cave this is meant to be, and this here is drawing a blank. I cannot remember for the life of me where this is meant to be based off. Maybe something to do with cathedrals? Maybe Cathedral Cave? Is that a thing? Is that a place? That sounds kind of correct, but I might be wrong on the location. And you've got more random bits. This might be the Cathedral Cave. This is something I'm going to have to Google. I'm going to have to add later down the line, isn't it? This is the Low Ray campsite, which is the National Trust campsite in the Lake District. This is a reference we took in Scotland, hence why I added a little Nessie in. I think this was another Scottish reference, and this might be Cannock Chase. I didn't often draw woods at this point, but I think from here I definitely did start. I think this is meant to be somewhere in the Peak District, and this I cannot remember in the slightest. I want to say Peak District again, but I can't say exactly where. But like, as you can see, I kind of like changed up Solis every now and then. So you got Solis like riding a broomstick with the little wizard hat on, but then you've got Solis in a more like a little adventurous outfit with the red scarf that I used to draw on all the time with a backpack. And then finally, I think this reference is the Peak District again. Yeah, this sketchbook was a massive help in helping me develop what I wanted the general look of Solis to be like and what everything was going to be going forward. I don't think there's too much to show with this sketchbook I had. I got this in 2020 when the world ended, and I barely filled it. I'm currently trying to fill it at the moment, as you can see, but I do have a couple of things here and there in it already. So we do have this one of Solis. I was using a reference off Pinterest at the time, and again another painting. I think this was when we were trying to design our garden, and again looking at Pinterest for like inspiration and ideas. Here we have some little bits of the Lake District again. With this, I think I was using a Kuretake brush pen for the first time, giving that a try, and I think I was also using the Himi gouache paints, trying to figure out like how opaque they were. And probably another thing I should mention that I have definitely lost track of is this. So even though we have a sketchbook here from 2016, this one from 2020, this was like an original book idea I had that I was fleshing out back in 2016, I think it was. It was when I was leaving my second job. I wanted to come up with an idea of an adventure book for Solis. The general premise of it being a representation of my struggle with depression and what I did at the time to try and get over it and work through my issues at that time. So as I said before, I went outdoors a lot, I was joining a lot of walking groups, and I wanted to put that in a story. And for years, I keep putting it off, and I even tried to start it on stream. And I was working on the very first page, and I caved. I was struggling so much. It wasn't turning out the way I wanted, and I chickened out trying to go any further with it. But now that I have a child of my own, I think I need to start cracking on with it, really. So I am very much going into planning it quite thoroughly now, and part of me is really hoping to make videos of it for YouTube as well, so hopefully I can show the progress of that bit by bit. Hopefully it will take a bit of the pressure off instead of trying to stream it all. But yeah, that is that. I also still have a mixture of old paintings yet that I still haven't sold. So if anybody watching doesn't know, I do sell my original artwork through Ko-fi, which the link will be in the description. I still have some things available, but thankfully I'm in a really fortunate position. I have some amazing collectors who have helped support me through so much, and once I get a little bit more control of my life after having the kid, hopefully I can start working full-time again. Like I said, these are some of the older pictures that haven't sold, but every now and then, like this one for example, I remember I had a high quality scan done of it, and my parents got it professionally printed and professionally framed, and that's hanging up in Mom's house at the moment. Amazing. Some of these, like this painting here, I never actually fully finished it. So with this one, for example, I only got so far with doing this traditionally, but with the faces of the ghosts, I thought I was going to mess it up. I actually drew them in Photoshop. So this has just sat unfinished for years. I love this one so much. I'm so happy with the way the water came out with this. This is one of my favourite places in the Lake District, and I've just got this like fascination of forever drawing ghosts in the water, like they're about to take down Solis. This is a very obvious, again, place in the Lake District, looking out to Derwent water. This particular scene is very well photographed, to put it simply. Like anybody who's walked this path remembers this view. It's really funny going back through some of these because like I very much remember painting them. A number of these here, these were done for streaming, which was a painting challenge organised by a number of artists on Twitch. And that was a year like I didn't like have too many plans going on, so I was just like, oh, do you know what, I'm going to join the community for once. I'm going to come out of my shell and join in with something. And honestly, it was one of the greatest experiences I got involved in. There were so many amazing talented people taking part, and it was just really good fun. With many of these I had to rely on external references because there was just so many things going on. And you have cute little setups like this. And this is like, these pictures here were especially fun because I was using the game Tiny Glade to like build these little set pieces essentially, and then go into the game and take screenshots and use those as references. So the work in that folder is some of the things that I have left that I haven't sold yet, and they spread over many years. Now let me show you some of the bigger examples that I have. So if you remember me mentioning prior that I had a thumbnail sketch in the massive sketchbook, this was one of the very first time I tried to paint Solis properly, and instead of having the bright red scarf I gave him like a yellow and green one. And we've got all of this texture in the scarf here to try and pick out all the detailing. That took forever to do, but also one of the first times I was using watercolor pencils in the work. My attempt to drawing ice with this one. For this, I was using a photo reference of one of my husband's outings doing ice climbing. Here we've got some, was it Inktober 2019 these are from? So after doing the prior Inktobers in the smaller sketchbooks, I started to try and do bigger pieces. So like these paintings here are A4 sized. Again, these are some of the ones that I have left in my shop. I have sold nearly everything else. So if you do happen to like any of these single pieces of work that you see that's something that's not in a sketchbook, then please check out my Ko-fi in the link below. These are a little hard to show, but I really don't want to pull them out just in case I get them damaged in any way. These are some of my bigger A3 pieces, again on the shop. This here was using one of my partner's reference from when he went climbing me out. And as you can see, I'm still trying to incorporate ghosties and little flags in many of the paintings. And then we've got this one, the reference photo for this I took at Hawkstone Park, which is very close to me. This was a lovely summer's day, and I love the colours that I was able to pick out in this. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of failures. So this one, I was trying to do like a Valentine's Day piece. So I built a set piece in Sims, used the screenshot from that, and it was my first attempt at using Archer's watercolor paper, which I don't love. I hate to admit that because it's expensive paper and everybody loves it, but I really struggled with it. It was very dry, and it's a paper that I definitely need more practice on. I've done one really nice like naturey scene on it with lots of leaves on, that's turned out nice, but for big flat washes I really struggled. And this one was the attempt of the first page of the book. Now I'm looking back on this and it's actually not too bad. I don't hate it. Like, I'm really happy with the way like many of these bits turned out, but I don't love the sky. And now I'm questioning, do I try and save this? If I go over the sky again and I just get rid of all this top section, maybe I could just paint over it with gouache. Do you think I've got a chance in saving this? Or shall I just start again? Please let me know in the comments. Or shall I just try to repaint this, see how it goes, and I'll just put it up on the shop if I don't want it for the book. Because like, I'm imagining this being split down the middle, so I've kind of got to get the balance. So we want like this the sight going across, and then the text will be going over this side here. See, I don't know. Now looking at this, maybe this can be saved. Maybe just having some fresh eyes was all I really needed. This here, I love this. This was using reference or Hawkstone Park, so very golden trees, trying to keep the light as much as possible. And we've got ribbons wrapped around the entire tree as well to help protect it. And I think this one, sadly, is one of the last paintings I did. It's not finished, as you can tell. One of the last paintings I did before I went on maternity. I only got so far and I couldn't do it anymore. Maybe I should try and finish this because I completely forgot that this existed. So again, many of the pictures in those folders, they go across from 2019, I think, to 2025. So quite a range of dates in there. And as you can tell, they are still available for purchase. And I know I'm jumping about quite a bit, but I've just realised I had like one sketchbook off to the side, which I haven't finished yet. But this is one that I started back in 2023. So I will show you some of the Solis work in this as well. From one of the previous pictures, can you see the little initial designs of the house here? I think I definitely need to redo it, because like, as much as I think I can save that final piece that I was working on, I think I can do better with the colours. Even just glancing at like at different thumbnails of these with different colour tones, I think I could definitely try and redo it. And also this sketchbook is for experimentation, so this was trying out different methods and trying not to use expensive paints. Honestly, this is where I was playing about more with sticking Solis in real life settings. So I think near enough every single reference that I used for this sketchbook were my own references. So going on from like 2019 onward, I was using my own personal references for practically everything at that point. And that's when I started to really develop my style, and that's where a lot of my paintings come from now. So there is quite a mix in that respect. We have some more, what's the best way to say it, more mundane kind of settings, more normal settings, and occasionally we have more big grandeur. But of course, that was very much dependent on either me getting out or my partner getting out to some really cool locations. These were taken, the references for these were taken at Hawkstone Park, so it's just pretty garden scenes essentially. This was like one of the first tries at using Himi gouache with Posca paints as well, and using coloured pencil over the top. So I was trying to work really quickly with these, to the extent that I was trying to get like one picture done a day on stream. Again, more Hawkstone Park at different angles, hence why all the colour palette is exactly the same. This is just around the back of the hospital where I live. Capel Curig in Wales. This is looking like down from a bridge from one of the shops on the way to Snowdon. We've got a shot of Burbage, just outside of Sheffield. This is the climbing location. And we've got Nestcliff, which is just outside of town for me. Multiple different renderings of the Langdale Pikes. Again, my favourite place in all the world. This is the tarn on top of the Langdale Pikes. This was a miserable day, but we got some really nice misty photos. This was Grisdale Forest, I think. Ignoring these, but I don't want to ignore them. Let's acknowledge everybody's pet. Yeah, this page here, I was trying to draw people's pets on stream. Here I was trying to get like the look of old town, so I was trying to use Shrewsbury as a reference for here, and I don't know where this is meant to be based off, I can't remember. This was the Isle of Skye. See, this kind of setting is perfect to put Solis in. And then this page again, I was trying to think of what to do for the book. I think this, if I remember rightly, was Lindisfarne? Yes. This is the day we got the nice mead. That's a terrible way for me to remember it, but here we are. Here I was trying to come up with some ideas of how to draw ghosties more with Solis. So if anybody hasn't paid too much attention to some of the background bits in a lot of these pictures, Because Solis is in a post-apocalyptic world, there are no humans about, but we do have lots of ghosties, which the general idea was going to be I was going to incorporate everybody from stream, my followers and such. They were going to help populate the world as ghosties, which I am still implementing and writing people's backstories. I think this is a bit from Hawkstone Park, and this is me trying to draw like different kinds of like backpacks, because I really need to settle on like how Solis's backpack is going to look. These are some of the initial ideas for stream ink before, so I was trying to like do everything like as a thumbnail sketch, and if I like the thumbnail then I progress from there. This I tried to do ahead of time just so I wasn't overwhelmed on stream. Like some things definitely have more thoughts than others. And most of these thumbnails as well, I never actually did anything in the end for them, but looking back at these, I think I can make these their own individual pictures. Like, and just have fun with it, like nothing too serious. Like I love these, like these kinds of shots. Like these would be really good to do as a grand picture. Oh, cheese was a good prompt. I love cheese. And then we have the animation for this as well. I did that for stream. See, I made this like very, very moody in the initial thumbnail sketch, but the actual one's quite bright. This here was an idea for an animation that was going to come up on stream for if anybody bought any work. So I've got it set up with my alerts, so if anybody buys anything from the shop or donates, an alert sets off on stream so everybody can see that something's happened. I would love to get this sorted and just have a little bit of animation going on for it. This picture here was playing around with like using acrylic ink as a base cover and then Himi gouache on the top, which has worked out actually very, very well. I think I should really do base colours more often. I think this was Wales here. I'm not too sure. I think I was just making some of these bits up here and there. This is when I started to try and do more world building with Solis, because I was just talking to chat more and more and trying to do like more of a thing with it. But it's like one of those double-edged swords, because I was talking about it, but then I was just getting myself really, really overwhelmed. But hopefully I can straighten my brain out and we can start working on little bits. A little picture of Triffin. No Solis in this one though. This is just a straight up reference that I took. Here we have some thumbnail ideas. Again, I've got loads of options because obviously I've taken these photographs. They're somewhere in my hard drive. So yeah, I've got more options for pictures. We did this one on stream a while ago. I think I sold the original painting for this in January. I'll pop it up on the screen to show you what that final looked like if I remember to do it. But yeah, I'd like to sort out the others as well. These would be nice ones to do. See, like, I do have lots of ideas and I'm really stupid because like I'm realizing looking back at this, I'm like, I've got all the content right here. I just need to start working on some final images and stop being such a little scaredy cat. Maybe this is something we can work together on YouTube if you guys like that idea, because of course I am very much struggling with finding the time to stream, especially because at the moment the little one keeps waking up in the evening quite a lot now past his bedtime. So you guys don't realise watching the video right now, but I've had to stop and start and help soothe my kid because he's teething at the moment. Here we've got lots of different poses for Solis. This is something like I really need to work more on. So one of the general ideas I had with Solis, the reason why his design is so simple is because it's easier for me to pose him. If I keep the silhouette very straightforward, I can put him in a scene and he stands out really nicely. And then the same with posing him as well. It keeps it very, very bog standard, so I don't have to go overboard and I can try and work on expression more. Because I think one of the issues I personally have when I draw is I really struggle to emote feeling and movement a lot of the time. So this is like really good practice, because if I can make some standard rectangles look animated, then I feel like I'm finally doing a good enough job. We have some more thumbnail sketches and ideas for the ghosties as well here. This is me trying to plan out towns. I spitefully scribbled on this because somebody tried to do a compliment on stream and I was just like, what do you mean it's a nice picture? Why am I spiteful like that? And here we have as well some ideas of the chat's pets as like postal workers. I really like that. There's one particular town that I really want to do that with, so that's an idea that I need to like do. I think this is meant to be Bridge North. I think. This is just a quick fun experimentation idea that I was trying to do. Again, working on more poses here. This was a concept for a happy birthday alert. It became this thing that chat kept doing. That everybody would say it was my birthday, and the moderators can change my stream title. So they kept on saying it was my birthday, and then poor unassuming people, because I wouldn't notice half the time when they changed my stream title, and people would come in and they'd be so lovely and they'd be like, happy birthday, and I had to sit there like a moron and go, I'm so sorry, you were tricked and I didn't pick up on it. I am so sorry, I love you, please don't hate me. So yeah, I need to remember to take away privileges from the mods so that they can't change my stream title, because it's not my birthday. I will never stream on my birthday. Screw you guys. But I should really do an animated alert for anybody who actually does have a birthday. And I can set that. You can't. It's me. I don't trust you anymore. You know who you are. Here we've got some references of Ironbridge, and we've got Ludlow Castle as well. A lot of the things I want to do with Solis, I want to use references of basically where I live, because like I have lots of cool historical things around by me, so those would be really good to set the basis of things off. More little doodles here. This here was a reference that Sam took when he went to Wales climbing. These are some animation ideas that I really need to get sorted, and that's basically it. I say basically, there's actually a lot there, but it's like very chaotic and really scrambled, and I'm really hoping over the next few months and years I can kind of get my act together and consolidate my thoughts and start on the world building. I keep stopping and starting because it's a big project, and truthfully I don't know where to start, but I think probably one of the most important places that we start from is we sort this book out. I feel like if I get this book done, I can move on with everything. It's like, get this initial idea out of my head. There's a lot of paintings to do for this, and I still don't know whether I want to self-publish it. Do I make the books myself and make them like little proper art pieces? I don't really know, but let's get the actual pictures done first. Luckily, in the grand scheme of things, the story for this has no meaning or context for the rest of the lore. This is its own little standalone thing that I can just have fun with and make it its own thing. So yeah, that's the plan at the moment. You have seen work back from 2011, I think it was, that we saw the earliest date, up to 2026. It's been many years drawing this character, and I should really get it rooted, get it cemented, what the lore is. That is the most important thing to me right now. And I think that'd be a really nice thing to have when my little boy starts like reading, and I can read little bits to him then, and it'll just be a really nice thing to bring back for streaming. I can get back into just making content again, and also the whole YouTube thing. At least I now have an official video that like, hey, this is all the Solis work, these are all the sketchbooks where the work has originated from. All in one place. I can just send people this link. It's sorted, it's done. So if you've watched the whole entire video, thank you so much for watching. I know I've not really answered many questions at all. I think this is going to be a thing where we get so far and I just do like a Q&A in general of everything that pops into everybody's minds, and I can work on it from there. But yeah, I'm going to get sorted for bed. Fingers crossed I might feel good enough to stream tomorrow. Let's see how the baby sleeps. And I'm getting used to doing these videos. They're not perfect, but we're learning, and that's what matters. So, until the next video, bye-bye. Good boy. You want freedom? There's freedom.